All right, so today we're going to talk about whether or not Thrizer is worth it for your private practice moving into 2025. We are nearing the end of 2024, and so I thought I'd make a bunch of videos talking about these different platforms that are out there to see whether or not it's worth it for your practice. Thrizer's been around for a few years now, and just so you know, I'm not paid to make this video. They don't know I'm making this video. I say whatever I want, whenever I want, how I want to in these videos. My intention for these videos is to make videos that help therapists just like myself. So I'm going to give you the good, the bad, everything in between, my thoughts and recommendations. Now, if you're not sure what Thrizer is, it is essentially a platform, a tool that can help clients with out-of-network benefits. Now, we're going to get into that in just a second. But yeah, actually not just a second. We're going to get into that right now. And as always, I'm going to share my screen with you and just give you the notes that I have here. And so here we are. Is Thrizer worth it? By the end of the video, hopefully we'll have this question answered. Now, let's just look very entry level here. What exactly is Thrizer? And please forgive me, there's going to be a lot of spelling errors on here. But this is not a spelling contest. I just got to get my information across to you. Number one, it is a tool to assist clients with out-of-network reimbursement. And the way Thrizer works essentially is you would establish with them as a practice, right? You would get signed up. It is free for you, free for the client. That's a pro. We're going to talk about that. But essentially, you register yourself with them, right? Just like any other platform, your NPI, your email address, that kind of stuff. And then essentially when you have a client, you can sign them up or they can sign themselves up. Same thing, very simple to sign up. And essentially what Thrizer will do is they will take care of all the heavy lifting for the out-of-network benefits. So when you submit a claim, you do it in Thrizer. It triggers them to submit the claim to the insurance company, and then they manage the out-of-network reimbursement, which is notoriously difficult, time-consuming, and really frustrating. So they do all of that, and then they reimburse the client. So they actually act as a middleman between you and the client to obtain those out-of-network benefits, and they make it fairly easy. That is really how they started and what that's like their bread and butter. That is, if you're gonna use them, that's probably what you're gonna use them for. And the other thing is, it is a startup company. So we just need to be aware of that. A lot of these companies popping up in the mental health space are tech startup companies, and take that for what you will. They are in our space, helping us out with different tools. But you just have to be mindful that they are a startup company, which comes with a lot of different issues, right? The stability, how long will they be around? Where do their loyalties lie? But we just have to state it for what it is. Now, I'm not questioning Thrizer in that regard. I'm just stating that they are a startup company. Take that for what you will. All right, now this is gonna be simple. We're gonna go benefits, we're gonna go cons, pros and cons, and then whether or not it's worth it. And of course, you can just read my screen here, but I'm gonna walk you through. So here's the benefits. Number one, it's free to use as a provider. It's free to use as the provider and for the patients as well. It's free for them to use. The setup process is fairly easy. I know this from experience. I've been using it for myself for a while now. I have a group practice, so our providers are on there. That setup is easy to manage. And then for clients, I've actually had very few complaints. I send them the link, which is just automatically triggered in Thrizer. They fill things out and it gets started. And I don't think I had really any clients ask for help setting it up. It seems pretty straightforward and it works. So the other benefit is that and this is the main bread and butter, we just talked about this, it takes the hard work out of obtaining reimbursement. And I would say that I've had very few complaints from clients about the actual reimbursement. They seem to be getting the reimbursement, it seems to be timely, and it seems to do what it says it does, which is really, really helpful. There's been a few issues with reimbursement and the length of time, but then when I connect with Thrizer, it usually has to do with a specific insurance provider. Most recently it was Blue Cross Blue Shield, just being difficult. They eventually did get all of the reimbursement, but because it was Blue Cross Blue Shield, they said they were having a hard time working with them. But again, I would say 95% of the time, clients don't complain, they get the reimbursement and they're happy with it. Another really cool thing about Thrizer is they offer what's called Thrizer Pay. I'm not sure if a client has to pay for extra for this. I don't think so. But essentially what Thrizer Pay is, so as a clinician, you'll submit the claim, right? You have the session, you trigger the claim inside of Thrizer. And then rather than waiting for the reimbursement to come through from the insurer to reimburse the client, they'll actually front that to the client. I'm getting confused with client and clinician, sorry. They will front that to the client. So let's just say, for example, your sessions are $50 and the out-of-network benefit for the client is 50%, right? This is totally made up. They'll give the client the $25 reimbursement right away. And then so they front that, which is really cool. I think that really helps clients feel better about using this service. And then the other thing is Thrizer, just in general, I look at it as a tool for your private practice, as an addition, something you can offer to clients. And I've found that having Thrizer to offer to clients is just a really helpful benefit and can really help clients who might be on the fence about using out-of-network benefits stay with you or work with you. For a lot of clients, they end up switching insurance. They go from in-network to out-of-network with you. And sometimes it's just black and white. I want to use my insurance or I can't. But for some clients who are on the fence, saying that you have a platform to use that helps with out-of-network benefits sometimes helps clients make the decision to stay. So I found that it really does help to retain clients, and it does help to attract clients as well who might be iffy about using out-of-network benefits, right? So I do find it to be a helpful tool. Let's get into some of the cons. Again, take this for what you will, but this is a tech startup company. So in terms of how long they'll be around, the stability, I don't really know. These startup companies come and go. And with that in mind, they're also always changing. And so far the changes have been really positive, but there can be changes that are negative as well, which we see with a lot of tech startups. So you just have to keep that in mind. It's nothing at the moment as I'm filming this, but they might run into issues in the future. Who knows? Just have to be aware. The customer support can be a little bit slow. I will say it hasn't been terrible, but sometimes I'll have clients who will reach out and say, hey, I'm curious about this, or it's usually about the reimbursement and the timing. And it's not often, right? Because I said the platform works well, but sometimes they will. And then I'll reach out to customer support and it could take a few days to get back to us. Not horrible, but not the quickest. But I will say it's been improving over the last couple of months. So that's been really, really great. They also have a feature, the benefits checker. I have found that this is either not working or inaccurate. So I don't actually rely on it. It looks really cool. It seems like it should work, but it doesn't work that well. So that's a con as well. Not a huge deal. I don't know if benefits checkers are all that accurate anyway. I wish it was. So then with all that in mind, is it worth it? I think it's worth it solely because it's free, and it's free for you, free for the client, and it works well. It does what it says it will do. The only thing is you just want to be flexible, right? Again, it's a startup. Things could change with them. You really never know. Don't build your entire practice on Thrizer. And I say that for every platform I talk about. Do not build your practice on one particular platform. Make sure that if any of them go down, you're able to continue to run your practice with minimal shuffling around. But again, that's not just a Thrizer thing. So at the end of the day, I would recommend it moving into 2025. I think it's a helpful tool. And that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you learned something. And until next time, I will see you in the next video.